The Brave Hunter and the Spirit of the Forest. A traditional African folktale filled with adventure, mystery, and courage. By African Folktales King. Deep in the heart of an ancient African village called Abodonto, there lived a renowned hunter named Jabari. He was strong, fearless, and skilled with a bow and arrow. But beyond his strength, he was wise, respected by the elders and loved by the children. One day, the village was struck with fear. The people could no longer venture into Okuta Forest, a place once rich with game and fresh water. Strange things began happening. Hunters would enter but never return. Some claimed to hear whispers in the wind, while others spoke of eerie lights floating between the trees. The village chief, Elder Kofi, called a gathering. "The forest has turned against us," he said gravely. "Our hunters disappear, and our people go hungry. We need someone brave enough to uncover the mystery." A heavy silence filled the air. The villagers exchanged nervous glances, afraid to speak. Then, a deep voice rang out. "I will go," said Jabari, standing tall. His mother, Mama Zena, gasped. "My son, this is dangerous." "I must, Mama," he said gently. "If we do nothing, our people will suffer." With the blessings of the elders, Jabari set off before sunrise, armed with his bow, a quiver of arrows, and a small pouch filled with charms from the village healer, Nana Oduya. "Take this," she said, handing him a special talisman. "It will protect you from unseen forces." As Jabari stepped into the shadowy embrace of Okuta Forest, the trees seemed to close around him, swallowing him whole. The whispers in the wind. At first, all was still. The rustling leaves and distant calls of birds were the only sounds. But as he ventured deeper, the air grew thick with an unsettling silence. Then, the whispers began. "Leave this place. Turn back. You do not belong here." Jabari paused, gripping his bow. "Who speaks?" he called, his voice steady. The whisper stopped. The silence returned, but it was heavier now. Then, out of nowhere, a gust of wind roared through the trees, sending leaves swirling. Jabari barely had time to react before a shadow darted past him. He turned sharply, arrow nocked, scanning the trees. Nothing. Yet, he felt watched. "I am here in peace," he declared boldly. "Show yourself." A deep chuckle echoed through the trees. Then, the shadows shifted, and from the mist, a figure emerged, a tall, ghostly being with glowing green eyes. It was the spirit of the forest. The spirit's warning. "You are brave, hunter," the spirit said, its voice like the rustling of leaves. "But bravery alone will not save you." Jabari held his ground. "What has happened to my people's hunters? Why does the forest no longer welcome us?" The spirit's eyes flickered. "The balance has been disturbed. Your people have taken more than they give. The trees cry, the rivers grow weary, and the spirits grow restless. Until the debt is repaid, no hunter shall return." Jabari's heart pounded. He had heard the elders speak of balance before, how the land must be respected, how for every tree cut, another must be planted, and for every animal taken, an offering must be made. Had his people forgotten? "Tell me, spirit," he said, lowering his bow. "How can we restore balance?" The spirit studied him, then reached out its hand. In its palm lay a single seed, glowing faintly. "Take this. Return to your village. If your people wish to hunt again, they must first plant the tree of life. Nurture it, and the forest shall forgive." Jabari accepted the seed with both hands. "I swear on my honor, we will do as you ask." The spirit nodded, and just like that, it vanished into the mist. The return and the promise. Jabari raced back to the village, the whispers now gone, the forest no longer heavy with dread. As he emerged from the trees, the villagers rushed to meet him, their faces filled with relief. "Elder Kofi," he said, kneeling before the chief. "I have spoken with the spirit of the forest. The land is angry because we have taken too much without giving back. We must plant this seed and promise to care for the land, or the forest will never welcome us again." The chief, moved by Jabari's courage, called for the people to gather. Together, They dug a hole in the village square and planted the seed. Every day, the villagers took turns watering it, speaking to it, and thanking it for the life it would bring. As weeks passed, the tree sprouted, growing taller and stronger. And just as the spirit had promised, the hunters who had been lost found their way home, emerging from the forest unharmed but changed. They spoke of dreams filled with voices guiding them back, of an unseen force leading them to safety. From that day forward, the village of Abodontor lived in harmony with nature. The people hunted only what they needed, always leaving offerings of thanks. They planted more trees, and the rivers flowed freely once more. As for Jabari, he became a legend, not just as a hunter, but as the one who listened to the spirits and restored balance. And so, the tale of the brave hunter and the spirit of the forest was passed down through generations, a lesson of respect, courage, and the power of keeping promises. This story is rich in African folklore, adventure, and suspense, perfect for African folktale keen on YouTube.